basically, uh, welcome to the third session of Android by GDSC IIIT Hyderabad. And this is the third session of Android Study Jam, but the Android Study Jam has just started now. So I think you have already filled this form. If not, make sure you fill it as soon as possible to be eligible for all the certificates and everything else. And just to go through this rules and rewards section. So make sure you join the Discord server. The link is given. The Discord, all the updates regarding the live sessions and anything else like rules and any changes in rules and all that will be given on the Discord server only. And for all the recordings of the previous sessions as well as this and future sessions, you can visit this YouTube channel here. And for all the resources, like sometimes we use some assets like we use dice images, etc. You can visit this website. And the whole Android Study Jam revolves around this course. Let me open it. Yeah, so this is the Android Study Jam course, Kotlin basics, layout, navigation, connect to internet and all that stuff. To be eligible for any certificate, we have to make sure that you have learned something, and the best thing we can do is that make you comment what you have learned, what problems you faced, and anything you want to share, like below every video. So 2 sessions has already been conducted. Third is this, and there will be at least 2 sessions in the futures. So make sure you comment what you learned, and we will be tracking that. And only if you attend each session, then only you will be eligible for any certificate. Now, certificate of participation or completion. For that, you obviously have to complete this eligibility criteria, and after that you have to earn 10 badges. So by badges I mean these are the badges. So 4 badges are just for Kotlin basics, 3 for layouts, and another 4 for navigation. And if you are able to build an app, like the details and requirements will be shared later, then you can skip earning these badges, and you can also earn a certificate of excellence. So these are the rules basically. And we have already completed 2 sessions in which we discussed Kotlin basics and built our first Android app, and also covered some part of the layout like linear layout and all that stuff. In this session we will be learning constraint layout. So after this session you should be able to get these 7 badges, and you will be left with another 3, any 3. So at least 10 badges, right? And for this session I assume that you have watched previous sessions. If not, make sure to watch them whenever you get time. Hopefully the topic is not very difficult, and you will be able to understand even if you have skipped the linear layout session. So that was all about the rules. Just make sure to fill this form. I will just share it in the chat also in a minute. And now my teammate Ayush will be taking the constraint layout session.
Discussing constraints, and this is basically where we do all the designing. This is our layout window, and how constraints work is basically we attach different view elements to each other and we constrain their positions using it. Let's go a little bit even further back. Before this, we were only using relative constraints or linear layouts and relative layouts. Okay, but the problem with linear and relative layouts is that I think I have an example over here. Actually, I have a good picture also. Hold on. The problem with the relative and linear layouts is that they kind of get really you have an image view, so you have a linear layout instead of inside of a relative layout, and then inside of that we have another relative layout, and then a bunch of stuff. It just keeps going. There's a lot of nesting going on in this whole process, right? And the whole nesting aspect, it reduces performance. Okay, the performance becomes not good. And constraint layout, but the advantage of constraint, what is this? Yeah, the advantage of constraint layout is that we only work with one level below the actual layout, right? Everything is related to each other. We're not nesting each other. Okay, let's look at the code and let's see how it looks. We have our constraint layout, which is this is our constraint layout, and we have a text view, and we have a text view. There's not a lot of nesting going. There's actually in this example at least there's no nesting at all. And in general you find that there's not a lot of nesting and the performance is generally better. So basically constraint layout is just a more flexible version of relative layout. uh, so again, this is our menu which I was talking about before. We don't really need to look at it too much. The only thing the only like interesting related to our topic options over here is the clearing all constraints, which I showed before. All it does is like it clears all the constraints. So now I can just move this around freely and nothing happens to the other text element. Okay, and the other thing is this, which is infer constraints. I didn't actually show this before, but I'll show it right now. And if I do this correctly, it should see. Look at that. It creates its own. It like kind of infers the software kind of like understands what it makes its own estimate of what the constraints must be, and with it's a pretty good way of like it's not always accurate. Okay, I'm not going to say this tool is perfect, but it's actually it gets useful towards the end of your app when you're like done everything and you're just like trying to fix any loose ends. But you will usually have to make some adjustments to whatever this tool does over here. Okay. um Now I showed you how to delete constraints. Yeah, so that's very simple. Just like delete it, delete this. Oh yeah, I didn't delete this one. Delete. And I can create constraints by just like clicking on the circle and dragging it to whatever surface I want to. Again, you can only drag an anchor to one surface. You can't drag an anchor to multiple surfaces. This is a default margin. It's useful when you want like a specific, like I explain what margins are, okay, but I'll explain them again. So these squiggly lines over here, these spring-like lines, these are your constraint lines. But these straight lines that you see over here, these are your margins, okay. And you unlike these spring lines, they're not actually like function as used as relative to anything. These give you your absolute position with respect to the view, okay, or whatever thing. I guess in this case it's the parent. This whole thing, you're like 188 dp from this side of the view, okay, and that's basically it. Now I can clear all the constraints again because this was just an example. It's a good use of it. Let's see. Okay, so I cleared all constraints. Now what happens? I'll go to the code and I'm going to show you again. Even though I've cleared all constraints, you'll see that the text views, okay, both of them are still in the same position, and it doesn't feel like I changed anything, right? Even though I've clearly removed the squiggly lines and I've removed the margins. So what exactly happened over here? Well, the app actually, the Android Studio is actually like takes into account that you remove the constraints, and it adds this one piece of code over here, tools layout editor absolute X. So it gives you an absolute X position and an absolute Y position for both of your text views. I'm saying text views a lot, but I need to make sure these things over here, these are text views, okay? And it gives them an absolute position of 147 dp, 244 dp. If I move it a little bit more, it'll change it. Oh wait, sorry. Okay, fine. I changed the wrong one. So this is 288 dp and 77 dp. Let's move it around a little bit. Use this in the XML file. Now, look at the tools. This only takes place as long as you're still in the designing process. The moment you actually build your app and you try to run it, it goes back to the default position, which is 0, 0. Okay, so I put 2 of them this time. So let's see what happens. Okay, launch successful, run. See, look at that mess. It put both of them in the 0, 0 position because they weren't constrained to each other. If I had like put like a horizontal or a vertical constraint on them, this wouldn't have happened. They would still be like legible, at least legible, right? But since I didn't put any constraints between them, you can't even see what is happening over here. So that's one advantage. That's like an important advantage between and distinction between the absolute values that you see in the code over here, which is only for the tools, and constraints. Now let's see what's next. Oh yeah, margins. Let's I'm going to show you how the constraint widget. Okay, this is actually very okay, let me just put the constraints back. I'll delete this text view because I don't need it right now. Let me put the constraints back. Okay. Okay, good. Now I'm going to tell you what bias is. Okay, so this is called your vertical bias. All it really does, it's another way of moving your element around. It's not too difficult to grasp, but yeah, just it's a neat way of doing it. And suppose I don't want this text view to go further too close to the margin. Okay, so I can put like a little margin over here that prevents it from going too into it. See, there's a space over here. There's 16 dp space over here, and if I make it 0, now it can go all the way there. The bias, like, let's say, go all the way, touches the margin. Now there's another way of like doing this whole thing, and you don't have to actually specify that every time. You can just like, this is a default margin. If I use a default margin, any text that you actually put over here, it's going to have the margin. So see, I didn't have to change the widget. I don't have to modify the widget. It just happens on its own because I've changed the default margins over here. Now okay, let's try removing everything. I'll try inferring once again just for fun. Look, it tries its best to like infer like what exactly are the constraints in this situation, but since I didn't really have a plan of what I'm going to do with these text views, it just like gave a mess over here. So yeah, this inferring thing is not exactly like a perfect tool, but it's still pretty useful. Now, I've shown you how to use biases, right? So let me delete this. Notice that I can only play with the biases with the spring lines. And if there's a margin over here, I can't play with the bias over here. It doesn't even give me an option to play with it. Okay, but since there are springy constraints over here, I can move them up and down. Okay, so oh, this is interesting. So if I toggle this chevron over here, okay, so this basically tells you that it's wrapping the content. I can switch this so it turns into a margin, or wait, hold on, let me just remove this margin away so I'll give you a proper example. The and the, okay, that's also another way of modifying your thing, but I don't want to touch into that right now. Okay, so you can change it. Now it's basically matching the constraints. So whatever constraints this basically means that I'm making the element, whatever element I'm clicking on, I'm going to make it match whatever constraints I've given it. And the constraints over here are basically, you can go as wide as you want. Okay, so I changed its horizontal constraint, but now I'm going to change its vertical constraint. Let's see what happens. Okay, no, wait, first of all, you go back. So now it's back here. Now I'm going to change the vertical constraints. Right now it's fixed. I'm going to change it, and now since I'm not really giving it any hard relative layout, it's fill parent, right? Basically it's the same thing as filling parent. And yeah, what's next? Toggle chevron. I've changed the margins. Okay, yeah, you can change the margins from over here. I've already told you about that, and you can see the 16 margin over here. All right. Okay, we can test out with the button as well here, and I'll show you auto connect. Wait, no, sorry. Just if I have another element over here and I put auto connect, it's actually going to connect. It's actually going to automatically connect to whatever constraint it thinks it's proper. Usually this is not very useful, so we're not gonna use it too much. Anyway, that's the basics of constraint layout. So let's actually get to the app. Now this is the app, right? First thing you want to start with is, I guess, should we start with the resources first, or no, let's start with building it first. So first of all, let's try to build this entire thing over here, and we'll style it later on. So delete, delete, delete. Okay, so we're gonna take first of all put one text view over here. Okay, and you can actually design this app however you want, but I'm just trying to like make my version of it. You guys can work along with me and tell me what you guys are doing. Tell me if you guys find any difficulty or anything, right? So, okay, perfect. And I'm gonna make a margin of 16 over here, and 16 over here, and I'm gonna make it fill the constraints. No, that's not it. Yeah, that's the one. And yeah, that's good. But it's barely visible, right? So I'm going to have to change the styling of it. Let's see, what style should I put on it? No, actually, you know what? Let's go to text. We're gonna go to font. Go to more fonts. I like this one, Roboto. Go to OK. Yeah. Actually, wait, no, I think I took the wrong one. Yeah, I took Roboto thin. I like Roboto regular. Roboto. More fonts. Regular. Okay, there we go. That's better. And I can give it a style. Actually, I made a style. I'll put this in the chat. Okay, these are my resources, by the way. Okay, these are, I guess I should give them to you first, or should you guys make your own resources? I don't want to like hold your hand too much. I want you guys to like be creative and explore on your own. um like it might be a little daunting at first, but basically this res folder over here, right, it's your resources folder. The app, basically, when you're coding stuff, when you're programming stuff, if you need anything extra like images and stuff, it comes from over here. Okay, now in the values folder, you all have like a values folder over there. I want you to like make resources. You don't need color right now, we're not going to talk about color, but I'm gonna put this in your in the chat. Okay, this is like what I used. It's called white box, and I'm gonna put the whole thing. Okay, and you guys can use it in your resources. Where do I put it? Oh, I can't put it on chat actually. Okay, fine. I'll have to put it on Discord then. No, actually, I'll give this to Sanchit actually, and he'll put it on chat. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, so this is called this is basically, you can change around the stuff. It's not really, I just like put some random values over there. You don't have to follow it. Like, you can change this color white. I made this white because I'm going to hide it afterwards, but you can make this whatever you want, like hollow blue bright, whatever. In fact, wait, yeah, hollow blue bright. If I do this, it should change my what my design looks like. Look at that, it changed the design, right? So play around with it, change it, do whatever you want with it, and be creative. But I'll keep it white for now because I want my boxes to look invisible. Center, if you guys have any experience with HTML or CSS, it's like, this is called a markup. The XML is literally called markup language, and it's you'll get an instinctual, you'll have an instinct for this kind of stuff. Oh, dimen. Yeah, I should probably give you the dimensions as well. So the dimension resources is basically, I'll give you, like, it's basically like a specifications for each margin half, and the sizes of the margin and stuff. Okay, you can change this around too if you want. Really, damn it. Okay, here, resources, done. Here, okay, white box should work. Okay, good. Where was I? Yeah, I was in the main thing. Okay, Actually, you know what? For now, I will change the colors. I will change the styles so that uh, blue bright. I'll put this into my own thing. I'll put this in the new one. Where was it? Where's values? Oh crap, values, strings, preload fonts, blah, styles. We need styles. New resources. Actually, wait. I think we can just like, nah. Okay, styles. Okay, color. Oh, I didn't add the colors. Okay. You know, we don't need colors right now. You can remove this part if you want. I just want to show you how to change styles, and we'll add dimensions as well. Okay. Perfect. Now, how do we apply these styles? We just go over here, and I go to style, and I press this. Has to be a white box. See, it shows up because I've added it to my thing now. So yeah, it becomes that. Okay, next another text view over here and over here. Actually, how did I make it over there? I made 4, right? 4. Now, wait, did I have a style for this? Okay, fine, whatever. Now we're going to do something called chaining, okay? I'm going to create a chain between these 3 boxes so that they, well, you'll see it actually. Okay, so first of all, I want to select all of them. This is a new concept, by the way. So select all of them with a control click, right click and chain. Make a vertical chain, and now they're chained. You can, there's a lot of stuff you can do with this. You can add weights to that, so that some of these text elements like take more space than the others, or the default is just that they get evenly distributed on the chain. But yeah, just it's really up to you what you want to do with it. Anyway, wait, what? Oh, wait, delete this one. I don't want this one. Oops. I wanted this one to be aligned with the other one over here. Yeah, and I want this one to be aligned over here. Okay, it doesn't look very neat right now, but you're starting to see what's happening, right? I'm just like going to increase the size of this, and you'll maybe see what happens. So chaining allows you, oh look, they're all close to each other right now. So what can I do to like make them not close to each other? I just like make a margin, and the constraint between them will be a margin. Okay, so that's what I was discussing before, right? So let's just increase the margin a little bit. Right now it's 0. That's why they're all stuck together. Let's actually, we don't need as, like, if you look at this over here, it's so intuitive. Like the moment you look at it, you kind of understand like, okay, that's what it means. The top margin is 16 right now. It's not, I don't want it to be 16. I want it to touch the top over here, this thing over here. I want it to touch it. So I'm going to turn that into 0. Boom, touches it. Now I want there to be a little bit more space than just this. So I'm going to add maybe 8. Okay, 8 is over here. So now there's space over here. And now I want a little bit of space over here. So 8, and yeah, 0 is fine over here. And now we have something very similar to what's happening over here. I want the style to be the same though, so let's change. I don't want it to all look different. Style, white box, okay. Oh, okay, I forgot to change the text. Where is it? Oh, what's my text over here? Box 2, right? Yeah, box 2. I'll call this one box underscore 2 underscore text. Okay. Yeah, refactor. And this will be box 3. Next. Wait, right? Yeah, sorry. Box 3, just white box. So you're kind of seeing what I'm doing over here. It's becoming kind of repetitive, and I think you guys get the gist of the whole styling process. But I'll just do it 2 more times, and then you guys will get the hang of it. I don't want to like recreate that entire thing. Like uh, box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, right? Yeah, box 4. Let's go text. I'm giving it an ID because afterwards, this ID is actually kind of important because afterwards, when you're like programming some functionality, the ID you'll need the ID for it to change colors and stuff. So yeah, box underscore 4 underscore. Wait, what am I doing? No, it's box 4. Make the style over here. White box, and this is the same thing one last time. I don't want to do this again, so box underscore 5 underscore text. Make this the style. White box. Okay, and yes, we've got box 5 as well. There's something wrong over here. Right, I didn't align. Yeah, they looked weird because, whoa, what was that? What did I do over there? Control Z. Did I align them properly? Yeah, it's fine. I want them all to be constrained to this right edge over here, to the parent. They shouldn't be just moving around like this. Oh, by the way, you see this weird wire-ish kind of line over here? That's the chain. Okay, the chain is what, I guess, the chain is what has its own different properties, but you can it's kind of similar to the aligning, how a regular constraint spring aligns it, but the chain aligns it in a little bit different way, in which you can, again, I already told you this before, but you can add ways, and it kind of takes into account like, oh, there should be this much space between them. So it's kind of useful in those kind of situations when you want like there to be certain space between each one of the elements. Start box 2, start, wait, what? Okay, you can see how like how many constraints are like showing up now, and it's definitely like getting a little weird. Should I constrain this to this one as well? Yeah, why not? Perfect. Wait, no, I don't want it to be like this. Okay. Now, what do we want to do now? We wanted to add the buttons, I guess. No, we wanted to add these, I guess. Yeah, we'll add this one as well. Actually, like, you guys get the gist of it, right? Like, so I added this, and I added this. I just connected over here. Let me teach you how, like, what's the word for it? Yeah, baseline constraints. Let me teach you how to do baseline constraints. That's like the final part of any course, and then we'll like finally see how the app works. Okay, I want you guys to program the app. AB over here. This is basically how it works. Okay, and I'm gonna add some text over here. Come on, yeah. This is called what? This is a game, yeah. This is a game, and the no, sorry, I called the ID. This is a game. Cool. Control X. This is a game. Yeah, and what did I call this over here? Label underscore text. That's what I called it. Label underscore text. And this is a game. Where's the other one? I somehow like moved this over here. God. Delete. They're already kind of aligned right now, but I'll move this one a little bit down, and then we'll do it. Let's see. Wait, AB show baseline. So I see the baseline now. Once you see the baseline, you can kind of connect them together easily. And now, if I move this one, wait, if I move this one, they both move at least vertically. Okay, so they kind of align like this. Now I'll just add another constraint to make sure it's a little bit more responsive. I'll add this one to this, move this down, and I'll add this to this. A vertical and a horizontal constraint. And yeah, cool. So now we have something very similar to what I made, just like a little bit more rushed. I just want you guys to get the gist of it. I don't want to like spoon feed it. 24. Wait, let me make this text a little bit bigger. I can barely see it. This will also be 24. No, this will be 16. Yeah, so now it's a little bit more visible. Then I guess I added like a lot more resources. This is just to make things a little bit easier. I could show you how to use this as well, just since we already did all this stuff. If I created a new, wait, no, I don't think I should do it this way. This will mess up everything. Okay. Strings or XML right here. I'll just add this over here. Control C and Control V should work. If I just add the text, what's it called? Text view, right? No, I called it, I didn't give it a label. Yeah, text view 2. Fine. So basically, if you don't want to like, this is why the string resource is like so useful, is that if you don't want to like repeatedly, I should have probably done this from the beginning. I completely forgot I had that. If you want to, I can just like press this and it instantly like fills it up properly, like whatever I wanted, whatever text I wanted. I should, and yeah, that's much easier. I can do it over here as well. Box 3. Okay, yeah. It fills it up with the text, and if I want to change box 5 with the actual text which I wanted to put on it, yep, it fills it up nicely. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger so it fits. Cool. It's not matching the constraint. I just noticed that. Okay, let's try to get it to do that. Yeah, okay, now it's matching the constraint. I want everything to match the constraint. I don't want them to fall out of it. And box 4. Okay, so now that it aligned with this box 2, so that's good. Anyway, I think I think the only thing left is now this main activity, and I guess I can just walk you through the code and then I'll give you the code as well. So this is already there, don't worry about it. The main thing over here is that you have to listen for the clicks. Okay, so I'll listen. So how we did it basically is that we have a list of all the IDs of all the view elements in the what do you call it, in our view. Okay, we have a list of all the view elements in our view, and we just kind of like go through it listening, since we're only going to like listen. So basically what our as I showed you before, what our app does is basically changes colors of all the view elements that we click on, including the background. So I had an ID for each one, right? Remember, I was changing the ID for each one: box 1 text, box 2 text, box 3 text. I was actually doing that so I could make a list of all the ID. I mean, I guess I could do that with the default IDs as well, but this makes it more what do you call it, I guess easy to debug. And so now I have a whole list of these IDs, and I go through each. So and then I go through each one of them. This is basically a list of views. Okay, so I made a view list. Now then I go through the view list, and for each one I call make colored it. Okay, so for each view element that I land on, I say, okay, fine, make colored it. Okay, and this calls a make colored function over here. And since all of them have view IDs, I say like, okay, fine, is this box one, is this resource ID box one text? Okay, R stands for resource ID. I mean, our ID is resource ID box one text. And if it is box one text, I just want to change, I want to do this. I want the function to do this, view dot set background color dot dk gray. We learned about functions and stuff like in the first Android session, so maybe take a look at that one on the channel. Resource ID box 2 dot text, actually I wanted to change to gray. By the way, color.dk gray and color.gray, okay, this is important. This is a class that's inbuilt in the that you get with the Studio app. Okay, like if I just go to the, where is it, find some, no, find, where's the definition, open in, copy paste, find users, find sample code, go to declaration. Yeah, accept. So they have all this stuff already declared over here, so I just use some of them. Okay, so they have LT gray and they have red and magenta, so we just call from the color class to that, and color.dk gray and color.gray. So that's two of our colors. And I use this one over here. This is my own colors that I had defined over here in the colors.xml value, that you can also do whenever you like, whatever color you want. You don't have to choose these particular colors, and also you can just like choose with this whatever you want. Makes it very simple, you know. So now I have this, I have purple thing, purplish, I guess. That's my new color. Or you can just type in the hex values. It's really up to you. Okay, choose whatever colors you want. Be free, like do whatever colors you think looks cool. Okay, and then you go to what do you call it? Where was I? Was I on main activity, right? Yeah, I was on main activity. So you go to, wait, the project, yeah. So yeah, so we have hollow green light, hollow green dark, and hollow green light. Wait, did I call it again? I made the same color twice. Okay, fine, that was my mistake. Let's make it something different. That's good. No, it's fine. Two colors fine. I think I did that on purpose. Then again, we're just calling the same function. We're doing the same operation again and again. But if it's box 3 text, if I'm clicking on box 3 text, then set the background resource to this hollow green light. If I'm clicking on box 4 text, set the background resource to hollow green dark. Box 5 text, set the color to hollow green light. You get the point. Anyway, then what did I do over here? Yeah, so then afterwards I added the buttons, right? So let's go back to activity main.xml. I added the buttons over here, and I actually created a string in my string file over here. Actually, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, I did it. Just want to make sure. So for each of these, yes, for each of these buttons, I'm like saying, okay, fine. Is it the red button? Red button is the ID of the red button, literally the red button. So I called this one. I'm like, okay, is it the red button? Then you have to change the set do this set background resource to r or color of my red, which is another thing I define in colors only. Yellow button is this, again, is I just copied this thing over here and I put it over here with different colors. And if I'm clicking on the background, just set the background color to light gray. And with that, we got our what do you call it? We got a color changing happening, and it's really, that's all the app really does. It's not very groundbreaking, I know, but we mainly did it to like learn about constraints and stuff, and the code part was like, that functionality part was not really like the goal over here, because that's what Sanchit like kind of did for like 2 classes. Anyway, I wanted to show you the constraints and see if I move this over here. See, look how strangely they move. If I move this, they both move together because I've kind of like linked them. I've kind of linked their baselines, and so they're kind of bound to each other this way, and it's really useful. Okay, it's really useful, especially like for different sizes of phones, that, oh, these two texts should be together. Okay, you have to make sure that these two texts are like aligned together. They don't like move in a weird direction, or they don't become illegible and just like kind of end up in the top of the screen. I want them to be together over here. That's why I'm linking the baseline. Okay, again, I showed you how to do the baseline, right? You do this and you just link the baseline. Okay, I can't do this right now because it's already linked, but I already, like, you get the gist of it, right? I can do it over here, I think. Yeah. Show baseline, I got the baseline, this little blue bar thingy, that's the baseline. Just link it to whatever you want. And yeah, another thing is that once you've linked a text element to a baseline, I can't move this anymore, right? I can't, because it's linked to this one. So I can only move the one that is like the parent, I guess. Yeah, I guess you could call this one the parent. I guess it's not the technical term, but it kind of feels like it's the parent. So yeah, I can only move this one. Over here, I made sure that I link both of them to yellow, so that if I move yellow, it moves up. Okay, it doesn't, like, it just makes it a little bit simpler. Maybe I should. Oh God, what am I doing? Okay. Okay. I've changed the size of the screen just for an example to show you, like, look, it still hasn't like changed much. Okay, I'm gonna make it smaller. Look at that. This is because of constraints only. If I had absolute placements, like, things would be looking a little bit stranger, I believe. And like, that's the disadvantage of absolute. No one uses absolute for responsiveness anyway. But yeah, now let's try running the app one last time to, like, see how it goes. Wait, stop, play. I'm using a Pixel, by the way, Pixel XL emulator. We can change it later on to see how that works. So yeah, now it's blue because I changed the colors to hollow blue instead of just white. My initial idea was to, like, make everything invisible. Then you click on it and it becomes visible. But now I'm just like, for you guys, I'm just like changing it back to the colors. Now let's see, if you remember the code. The code was that if I click on this, it becomes light gray, right? So light gray. Box 2 becomes dark gray. Box 1 is just, wait, I think this one was dark green, this one was gray. This one was green, this one was green, this one was dark green. So these two were the same colors, if you remember correctly. Now if I click this one, if you remember what my function was to change the box 1 red, I believe. Yes, it was change box 1 red. No, box 3.text was red. Sorry, I named them that, or I forgot the naming convention, right? So yeah, so if I click this, box 3 becomes red, box 4 becomes yellow, because that's why I said box 5 becomes a lighter shade of green. And with that, we have our app. It's a very simple app. There's not really anything cool we've done with it other than the whole layout. Because now if I do this, look at that, it still looks pretty okay. It doesn't look like the whole structure is ruined. The layout still looks pretty good. Now if I change this to Nexus, it's a different size, right? I'll stop this first. And run it again. Run. It's still going. Oh, okay, fine. Oh my God, what happened here? Hold on. I think it, like, I must have messed it up. Hold on. Stop this app. Yeah. Play. Oh my God, what's happening? I think this is because the emulator is not okay. It's not even loading now. Good. Okay. This is not supposed to happen. There's something wrong with my emulator, I think. This, if I had an actual phone right now, this would not be happening. But you get the gist of it, right? If you change the size, the layout's like protected from, like, messing up completely, and that's the advantage of constrained layouts. I really don't know what happened to my this. Using an emulator is not really recommended. You should be using an actual device, but I don't have my device right now, so yeah. Maybe I should have canceled one of them and then I shouldn't have run both of them together. Yep. See, if you run both of them together, it, like, kind of ruins it. But yeah, you guys get it. I think we're done then. Sanchit, anything else you want to add? Okay, guys. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining it. I really hope. You can ask on the group for any resources that you would like. I guess I can provide more resources or any help that you need with this app. Make something really interesting out of this and maybe share it with the group. That would be kind of cool too. Um, Collaboration is the key to learning. So yeah, thank you for coming, everyone. Bye bye.